joining us today on Something to Think About with Pastor Mike, where the topics can range from current events, historical perspectives, practical Bible application, to whatever's on his mind today. People have stereotypes of what it means to be a Christian, and one thing's for sure, Pastor Mike loves breaking those stereotypes. Pastor Mike Hasseltine is the senior pastor of Maranatha Church with campuses in Forest Lake and Chisago, Minnesota. With over 40 years of practical pastoral ministry, Pastor Mike challenges us to be real people, loving a real God, right in the midst of all our real lives. Now, here's Pastor Mike.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show, you.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's good. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Have I been here? I think I was here the week before the 4th of July.
Exactly, yeah.
And then we had a repeat for the 4th of July.
We did, and then you've called in, which is nice.
Oh, so I did that once. I did that one time, but yeah, it was nice. I seem to be kind of feeling better and stronger and returning to work because all throughout the time, the staff would see me because I'd show up during the week, but I didn't want to be around large crowds and burn up all that energy, and I looked pretty sickly, after surgery. Lost like 30 pounds and a lot of muscle mass and all that, but now I feel like, I'm gaining some of my strength back and feeling good, and I'll be here in the pulpit for the first time since surgery.
They're very excited to hear from you and see you again.
That's good. And if anybody's listening that's new and they talk about surgery, I had heart surgery, triple bypass. So, which I still think every once in a while I got to pinch myself and say, hey, you had a triple bypass. It's like, wow. But everybody sees me and they go, how you doing? You look good. And I'm like, yeah, I feel good. It's amazing. Good. Man, surgeons, nurses, anesthetists, all of the support people that go into that, every one of them are like excellent people. They really are. And then I feel bad for the physical therapy people. I feel bad for them.
Why would that be?
Well, because for most people, they're compliant and they go along, and I am constantly trying to push the edge of the envelope, and they have to watch me. And so, but I told them last week, I am going to follow the rules. I'm going to do what you say. You say 15 pounds is max, I'm only going to lift 15 pounds. Because I don't want to cause anything. I'm so close to 12 weeks. I'm at 8 right now. Today's 8 weeks.
Wow.
And after 12, I guess that's when they kind of consider that breastbone healed up.
Nice.
And you can start doing, other stuff. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting back in a gym of sorts and start to try to get some muscle back. Yeah, that's really well. KJ, how you doing today? KJ's back there pushing the buttons and knobs.
I'm doing good, yeah.
Yeah?
I'll join you in the gym. I want to get back in there, too.
Yeah?
I'm through a good portion of the Lyme's treatment where I've been doing a bit of golfing and biking, and I think I can start exercising again, so we can get competitive with it.
Actually, it's really good. The one thing that I found, and that's why I was such a troublemaker, is, I could bench 380 pounds.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Well, I mean, I could.
I can't do that either.
Back in the day,
200 would be a good day for me.
I've worked out with weights my whole life. I mean, it used to be that when I would, and if this sounds like bragging, I'm really sorry, but I'm just telling the story. So I used to, when I used to work out, I'd warm up benching 225 pounds. Now, they say if you can do 220 as a guy, you're in the top 1% in America.
All right, yep, I'm there then.
Okay,
I should say.
Yeah, you was.
Not anymore.
Okay, so if you can do 220, so I would do 225 20 times.
Jeez.
20 reps just to warm up, and then I started my workout.
See, I was always into dumbbell bench press.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I had a set of 90s, which I sold maybe a year or two ago because at 41 now, I'm like, these are probably too big for me to be throwing around.
Yep.
The bench, the barbell is a little safer because you can put safety rails and, or you have a spotter.
Yeah, for years when I first started, just regressing here or transgressing, whatever you want to say. Back literally early marriage and all that, I'm working out and stuff, and getting up to 200 pounds, 225, 250, 275. All I had was a hollow core steel bar.
Oh, did that flex?
Oh, man, it bent permanently. I'm like, this is not safe. And so got a 1-inch solid core bar. Well, then when I started getting closer to 300 pounds, that was bending. And I decided, it's probably a wise idea to buy an Olympic
Yep.
The real deal, kind of a bar, with the bearings and the whole deal. And so that's what I did, and it was a wise move.
Yeah, mine's been sitting at home in the corner for probably 3 years now.
Yep. Yeah, because
excited to get back into it.
You put a lot of weight on them. They bow a little bit. They're not going to bend.
Yep.
But they bow. I love to do every once in a while when I was going to bench like a heavy weight, like close to 380. I would invite my wife downstairs. Say, honey, I need a spotter. Come on down. She turned, go in the room, and she'd see all that weight sitting on there. She goes, Mike, I can't help you. I can't lift that much. And I go, I know you can't.
Just that little bit, though.
All you got to lift, I said, is 20 pounds. Because if I can't do it, I'm short about 20 pounds.
Yep.
All you got to lift is 20 pounds. And so she learned that don't be intimidated by all that weight on there, because all she's got to do is just lift a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I finally bought, back in those days too, I finally bought the cage so that if I can't do it, you rest it. You're not going to crush yourself. You let it down. You're like, you slide yourself out from underneath it, take weights off, put it back up. Anyway. So I'm anxious to get back to that kind of stuff. I quit, like you, I quit doing the bench barbell. Pretty much my whole workout now, for the last 3 years, has been dumbbells.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like hand weights?
Yeah. Hand weights, dumbbells.
Okay.
Yeah.
Machines, too, I'm a fan of more now, too.
That would be good.
It's less load on your joints.
Yep. It'd be just much better.
I think a combination of all of it. There's pros and cons to all of it.
Yep.
Switch it up.
Yeah. But the idea is that you're working out, you're doing stuff. So this whole idea of therapy, I've developed a little bit of sarcastic, fun humor when it comes to having gone through all this. So I'm in physical therapy. And again, I'm pushing the limit, trying to say, hey, can't I do 20 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 reps? This is ridiculous, So, well, why don't you do 10 pounds? And I said, well, 10 reps is nothing. Well, they said, well, do 20. So, the tricep extensions, the lat pull, the curling. By the end of the workout, how many reps did you do? I said 50. And they look at me and they go, you did 50? And I'm like, you're not listening to me.
Well, and for fairness sake, who are they used to dealing with?
Yeah, and that's my point.
Yeah.
A bunch of 70 and 80-year-olds that haven't worked out forever. And I get that you got to be careful because they don't want you to crack your sternum. They want this bone to heal, and at 12 weeks is when they consider that pretty much done, But my joke is now to people is, hey, if you want to get in shape, have a heart attack and have heart surgery because they're going to put you in a disciplined exercise program that most of our listeners out there, you're not in a regular disciplined exercise program. So we get heavier, we get less, we get weaker, we get more prone to injury, we get less mobile, and then because of everything else, all the aforementioned things, bad joints, overweight, lack of exercise, we can't do it, we get winded, we don't exercise. Man, I've seen people up there that are huffing and puffing, that haven't done that in their whole life. And when they get done with this 12 weeks of exercise or more, if they go more, they're going to be in some of the best shape of their life at 80 years old.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, temporarily. If it's not your habit, you will enjoy the fellowship for that period of time and the benefit of doing that. And then typically speaking, you go back to your normal behaviors when you're not in that.
Sedentary.
You do.
Back at home.
Changing habits, systemic habits like that for a lifetime
is tough.
It is tough.
I know, like for me, everybody, so you guys have known me for a long time, and people see me, I was fairly muscular and all that, and people say, and they assumed and would say to me, oh, you must really like working out. I look at them and I go, what would make you think that? Well, because you're more muscular. It's like, I hate working out. I don't wake up and go, oh, I can't wait to go sweat and work hard. No, I hate working out. Always have.
I love being done working out.
Absolutely. That's the highlight of when you start the workout, is there's an end in sight. Because every day of physical therapy, I tell the people, the technicians there, the workers, that I'm so happy right now, and they smile, look at me. Now they know where I'm going. Yeah, because you're done. Yep, exactly. I'm done.
Well, and you can build muscle with less weight, more reps. It's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I do. I promised Orlean that I wasn't going to lift heavy weight anymore because I've caused so much damage to my I've tore off bicep tendons and shoulder things, and they've had to surgically reattach all these things, and I've done it enough that, I quit like 3 years ago probably, doing heavy weight and using the barbell and all that. Now I use dumbbells.
Well, one of the benefits of this is you're going to progress real quickly. That's the one thing I've realized, because it's the same thing. You know, I've built up muscle. Something happens in life, I lose all of it, and my body type doesn't keep it. So it'll come back quickly, and then it'll be like I was working out 10 years ago.
Yep, the muscle memory kind of thing, and the muscle cells are used to this. So it does come back quicker. It really does. And just to maintain doesn't take a lot of work, but to get there does.
Yep.
You know, people assume I work in the gym. Now, I'll work out once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks. And they go, and you still can maintain out. It's like, it doesn't take much. It's like the plate that's spinning, on the pole. Once you're there, all you got to do is go by and spin it once in a while. Just keep it going. Yeah. But all that muscle that you gain working out like that, you start losing it. The atrophy starts setting in 2 weeks after you quit working out. So you do have to, like you said, Pastor Robin, you got to stay with it. You really do.
Which I think is one of the big keys to doing that, is finding something that you really like and it doesn't feel like work, so that you are inclined to do it. I mean, that's because if you don't like what you're doing, then it's harder to maintain.
I haven't found that yet, because I don't like any of it. I don't. I like the results. Oh. So like anything, you'll discipline yourself and to do the thing. But for me also, if the morning is the best, before the day gets really, really rolling, if you can get that in there and done, because often I'll tell myself, well, I'm just going to skip this. I got to get into the office. I got to work, and I'll try to get home, and I'll do it when I get home. Nope, never happens.
So my plan is always jump in the ice barrel first, because that's the hardest part.
Yep. And
then you get out of that and you want to work out.
Yeah, you want to warm up. Oh, that's really wild. Well, hey, to all of our listeners, I'd like to encourage all of you, man, get some form of exercise. Literally, minimally, walk. Walk for 20 minutes a day, 4 times a week or something. Just take a walk. It's the best thing for you. In fact, when you look at these people, these articles about aging and aging well, one of the concepts is how do you walk?
Right.
Do you walk slow down the hallway? Do you have a little bit of life and energy in your walk? That means that you're pretty healthy. It's when you start not being able to do that you go, there's some potential issues here. Anyway, it feels good to be on this side.
Yeah, glad to have you here.
Say that. So, you miss me?
Of course.
So what kind of national days we got going here?
Oh, today is July 10th, and it's Chronic Disease Day.
Wow, perfect.
And July 10th, or 7/10, was specifically picked because 7 of the 10 leading causes of death in the U.S. are chronic diseases, which are heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and so awareness of that today, and I think about the impact of that. So not even just personally, but even in relationships. When someone has a chronic disease, what that does to them socially, financially, relationally, all of the different things. It's huge. It's huge.
It affects your whole life, your personage. That's funny that we're talking about all this getting healthy. And again, you don't got to turn into an Arnold Schwarzenegger or a top fit, model that's slim and whatever. No, we're talking about just being healthy.
Right.
Getting that heart pumping, getting your hip joints moving. Motion is lotion, they say. Just getting moving. And because heart disease is number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Heart disease, cancer,
moving.
diabetes. Yeah.
Again, you don't got to go out there and get yourself a nice leotard or a spandex yoga suit or whatever. No, you don't got to do that. All you got to do is just go take a 20-minute walk. Just go do it. Just take a 20-minute walk. Look for agates.
Oh, there you go.
If you're on a dirt road, I don't know.
It's also Don't Step on a Bee Day, which is to highlight the vital nature of pollinators in the course of the cycle of...
They're pretty important.
Yeah, they are pretty important.
My wife will not let me knock down a milkweed plant in our yard. So I'm mowing the lawn, and you look
Around
at
the
our lawn,
milkweed?
you look at our yard, and all of a sudden you see this tall whoop sticking up, and over here sticking up. Mm-hmm. She will not let me mow one down because that is essential for the monarch butterfly.
It is, yeah, for sure. It is also Gospel Day in the Republic of Kiribati.
Yeah, Kiribati, whoa.
No, that is
I don't even know where that is.
It is in the Pacific, in Oceania. So all of those islands, it's like 3,200 atolls. I mean, it's over there on this side of
National Gospel Day.
National Gospel Day.
Wow.
It's also National Clarihue Day. National Clarihue Day. Now, Clarihue, I have my piece of paper here, is celebrated annually on July 10th, honoring the birth anniversary of English novelist and humorist Edmund Clarihue Bentley. He invented the Clarihue at the age of 16. It is a whimsical, biographical, 4-line poem that pokes lighthearted fun at a famous person. An example would be George III.
I once knew this woman. Her name was Robin.
I'm not famous, so what a word. George III ought never to have occurred. One can only wonder at so grotesque a blunder. So it's
almost like a haiku.
Like a haiku, except it's a Clarihue. So now you know. National Kitten Day. National Pina Colada Day. Pick Blueberries Day. Teddy bear.
Are they even in season yet?
Blueberries?
Yeah. I guess it's not National Go Pick Blueberry Day. It's just National Blueberry Day.
It's Pick Blueberries Day.
Oh, it is Pick Blueberry Day.
So somewhere that's got to be.
Someone's got to let us know. Are blueberries even in season? Can we pick them?
Yeah.
Maybe not in Minnesota, but
way farther south.
Farther south, maybe.
Yeah, farther south. One of the things.
A little diversion, really quick. Have any of you guys been out on the West Coast, like in Oregon, Washington, out there?
The blackberries?
The blackberries on the sides of the road. They're like an infestation, but
they're invasive.
They're everywhere. Every morning from a hotel, I just walk literally outside, walk down the end of the parking lot, and just get handfuls.
Exactly.
For breakfast.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. The other thing that I wanted to share with us is there are some interesting times in history. So today, in 1962, was the first communications satellite launched into orbit.
Wow.
In 1962. Tomorrow is the anniversary of Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr's duel. Isn't that fascinating? Also, on July 12th in 1976, Family Feud begins airing on ABC. On July 13th in 1985, Queen performed at Live Aid, which was cool. In July 14th, 1969, Easy Rider was released in the United States.
Wow, that's an old movie.
Yeah. July 15th of 2012, Psy releases Gangnam Style, which maybe people don't know about that. July 16th, 1951, J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye was first published.
Not familiar with it.
Well, which is interesting because I think J.D., the ladies are going to be doing a book review of Franny and Zoe, which is also J.D. Salinger here at church. So it was just interesting timing. Yeah. So all kinds of stuff going on.
What about in your world? What kind of national days or highlights is going on in your world?
In terms of what?
I don't know. Whatever.
What's going on in my world?
Yeah. Marriage, kids.
Oh. This summer, we are going to be celebrating 39 years of marriage.
Wow.
Which is really very cool.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank
that's
you
a
very
long
much.
time.
Yeah. And
I'll pray harder for Ernie.
Please do. I mean, he's got me to deal with. And our kids are grown. Our oldest just celebrated her 37th birthday, which is really exciting. And our middle is on a lifetime trip right now on his motorcycle, driving from the Canadian border to the Mexican border on the backcountry roads. And so he's on his way back home. We just got a picture from Wyoming, so that's very exciting.
Wyoming or Montana?
Wyoming. He wanted to go, and,
okay.
and then the upper route, and then I think he was going to be stopping at Teddy Roosevelt again. I know that's a national park he really likes. So that, and our youngest is preparing to head out to California. They're going to be bringing his girlfriend. She's moving out into this area, so all kinds of fun summer things happening.
As you're describing all this, I wish our listeners, this was more like TV, because they'd see you talking with your hands.
I do talk with my hands.
Yes, we're on the radio, and you're flailing about with your hands, describing where California is and where this is.
I come from a people group who talk with their hands. It's really funny.
Oh, is that right?
I was just highlighted. There's a gentleman that I follow on Instagram who is Cajun, and there's my family is
kind of Cajun.
Is Cajun, and so listening to even some of the medical things, how different pronunciations are made. Like for my dad, it wasn't diabetes. He did have diabetes. It was diabetes. Diabetes. And when he had trouble swallowing, it was because something was going on with his esophagus. and so it's wonderful to hear someone, because of the French background in my family. My grandmother and my grandfather were called Maman and Papa, and so to hear someone say it like that is just music to my soul. It just nourishes me. So
that's funny.
Yeah, it's very fun how different people pronounce different things.
My mother was French Canadian, and my meme and Pepe, my grandma and grandpa, they spoke very, very broken English. And listening to my mom as kids, we would harass Mom all the time because there's words she could not pronounce.
Yeah, I believe it.
And it was funny. She'd say, and we, as little demonish antagonists, we'd say, "Mom, say this word." Say that, because we knew there were certain words she could. Mom, say this, and then she'd try, and we'd laugh and giggle. She'd say, "Knock it off," because just trying to say that, them words.
Those things. It's fun to appreciate those kinds of historical things within your family.
Yes, absolutely. But I have to admit, I loved it whenever we did go out east, out to Boston or Massachusetts out there, listening to our aunts and uncles and our cousins talk. It really was just cool. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It just sounded, sounded cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild. So, if you guys if you're listening right now and you have a funny story, you want to kind of either call in Robin's phone or send a message, tell us your nationality, and do you have a funny story like not being able to understand people? Okay. Hey, we're going to be right back. Hope you come back and join us. You're listening to Something to Think About with me, Pastor Mike, a production of WAJC, Your Life Radio on 88.1 and 91.7 FM. We'd love to hear from you. If you have questions or comments about today's show, email us at wajc@yourliferadio.com. If you're ever in the Forest Lake area, I'd love to personally invite you to join us for a Sunday morning service at 9:30 a.m. or Wednesday evenings at 6:30 p.m. There's something for everyone.
Something to Think About with Pastor Mike is a production of WAJC Your Life Radio, which is owned and operated by Maranatha Assembly of God in Forest Lake, Minnesota. You can find more information on the web at realchurch.org. Now, back to Something to Think About.
Okay, welcome back. It's good to have you with us. Excuse me. And there's always, whenever you open the Bible, there's just so much stuff there. Just so much stuff. And it's all good stuff. Yeah. Orly and I were dating. She bought me a Phillips translation of the New Testament.
J.B. Phillips, yeah.
Yeah. And I ended up writing on the cover, just on the inside cover, I wrote good stuff. Because I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is good stuff, this is good. So I just got to the cover and I wrote good stuff. Yeah, kind of crazy. One thing I think about often, because of the freedom that I have in Christ, I'm not very religious. I irritate religious people, and in fact, I'm really good at it, because when I became a Christian and started reading the Bible, loving God, I found that the Christian church was busy doing all these things, and they acted weird and they spoke weird, and I just thought, why do you do what you do? Like as if there's any value in these things, you know? So I just never really got it. And I've often in my mind thought, the people who are more legalistic, by that I mean rule keepers, like in Colossians it says, whatever you touch and taste and do. I'm not talking about being moral, something like that at all. It's the little, don't eat this, don't eat that. Because I know so many Christians, you can't eat pork. And I read in the scriptures very clearly that when Jesus gave Peter a vision on the roof, the sheep came down and there were all these animals in there. And God says, rise up and eat. And Peter objects and says, I've never eaten food that's unclean. Basically, from that day forward, Jesus declared all food clean.
Yeah, and it's not what goes into the mouth.
There again, another whole, again, you start putting these scriptural concepts together, you form a bigger picture and you realize what's important and what isn't. Yeah, Jesus emphasized again and again, because the Pharisees of the day, hey, why do your disciples profane the Sabbath? And they eat grain, just all these things. And he says, hey, it's not what goes in a man that defiles him, it's what comes out of a man. He's talking about what comes out of your mouth. Because from the mouth, the heart speaks. These things are, clean or unclean. And all these religious things that Christians do. Again, don't get a tattoo. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Well, the Bible says don't get drunk, but okay, let's just skip over that one. It's, to this day, so crazy in people's minds. How you speak. There's a certain way that as a Christian, you speak like this. And there's something ceremonially religious when the priest or the pastor is up in the pulpit and he talks like this.
So, question for you. You have traveled quite a bit, and you've been to different cultures. I think I can remember you came, the team, Pastor Arlene, you guys came back from a missions trip, and it changed the way you prayed at the pulpit. And Lord, bless those
who are less fortunate
than ourselves. Different cultures that you go to, they express their devotion and their love for the Lord differently with the clothes that they wear. Whether that's, there's some countries women don't wear red. In Christian circles, that is just perceived as being loose out there. Yeah. Oh, right. I can remember I went to a church service in Maui when we were visiting there, and it was a wonderful church, and it was just, there was such an atmosphere of joy and excitement to be there, and you look all around, and it's like all of these women are in sundresses. Well, I come from a Midwest area here where typically your arms and your neck area are kind of covered up. I mean, it would appear to be more modest, but I can tell you there was nothing immodest about these wonderful women when I was there. So it was just one of those, I am unaccustomed to seeing this, but it isn't bad.
No, we're just not used to it.
It's just different.
And we put these human values and standards on some of these things. Like in the Eastern type bloc countries over there, Christians do not wear crosses, generally speaking. They would say to us, why would you wear a cross around your neck?
Yeah.
The one that we love and cherish was killed on one of those things. Why do you hang it around your neck?
As decoration.
And they would say, so like if your mother was stabbed to death with a knife, would you walk around with a knife, around your neck?
Right. You can certainly see the point.
Just different cultures, different ideas. And in Romans chapter 14, the Apostle Paul is talking about people who are rather legalistic. Don't do this, don't do that, don't touch this, don't whatever. And he says, what was, again, for me, growing up and developing my own, this idea of Christology and what it means to be a Christian, and that I have found so many times that the more legalistic somebody was, literally the more frail their faith was. They weren't living in a free, rock-solid foundation. They were almost like worried about losing their salvation. They had to keep earning it by doing this and doing that. No, your salvation is secure.
Well, it's like performance-based anxiety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had to perform to earn his approval and win his favor. When all those things that we've chosen to measure it by are not real. It doesn't matter. So in Romans chapter 14, he describes those people who are more religious as weak in the faith. But most of the religious people today in America who are more legalistic, they pride themselves at thinking they're more spiritual. They're more spiritual because they don't, smoke, drink, chew, go to movie. They don't do all these things, and that's how they identify their faith. No, what do you do? We love people. We are kind. The whole idea of the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. When you're full of that, now you're more mature. Just by the fact that you don't do these other things doesn't make you mature. It makes you look holier. In fact, when you go back in Colossians, I'm going to have to turn there eventually because I've said it a couple times now. He says, why do you submit to rules? Do not taste, do not touch. I'm going to get there in just a second. In Colossians chapter 2, it says, if you died with Christ from the basic principles of the world, why, and Paul's really wondering here, why, as though living in the world, do you subject yourselves to regulations? Do not touch, do not taste, do not handle, which all concern things which perish with the using. Exactly what Jesus said. Hey, what goes in a man doesn't condemn a man. It's what comes out of him. He even goes on describing a little further. What goes into man passes through. It doesn't defile you. He says, why do you submit? Do not touch, do not taste, do not handle, which all concern things which perish with the using, according to the commandments and the doctrines of men. All these man-made rules. Why do you follow them? These things, verse 23 is the key. These things indeed have an appearance of wisdom in self-imposed religion, false humility, neglect of the body, but are of no value against the indulgence of the flesh. Paul talks about in Romans 14, hey, receive one who is weak in the faith, but don't try to start disputing about things that don't really matter. My internalizing what they just said there. It says, but not to disputes over doubtful things. Yeah, don't be going on these arguments, things that don't honestly really matter. For one believes he may eat all things, but he who is weak, notice that, the one who is weak is the more legalistic, oftentimes. For he who is weak eats only vegetables. Let not him who eats despise him who does not eat. Oh, here gets the key. We really have got to learn to appreciate each other.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't believe in this. I don't believe in this. So are we going to meet and accept the fact that we both love Jesus? We're trying our best to serve him and follow him. Let not him who eats despise him who does not eat, and let not him who does not eat judge him who eats, for God has received him. Who are you to judge another's servant? Now, some people at this point might be thinking, well, what, you can't judge people's behavior? Oh, no. You're judging moral behavior.
And assessment
That's the key.
Is different than passing condemnation.
Yep, passing that judgment. Yep. But even then, it's about moral behavior, eating, drinking, wearing of clothes, and so many other things that many Christian circles put value on these kind of things. They're not moral issues. Hello, wake up. But they've been taught down through the centuries as moral issues. They're not moral issues. You got to grow up. Even Jesus, walking with his disciples, is there picking grain. Talks about don't work. Yeah, but in the concept of don't work, they're just grabbing a handful of wheat as they go by. Yeah.
Well, and there's this fine line between those behaviors that you're using to assess yourself or other people and their spiritual quality, their relationship with Jesus, all that other kind of stuff. So there's the legalism side of that by...
I'm better than you.
Yes.
Yep.
And then there is the fine-tuning of spiritual disciplines that we choose to do that help us keep our focus on Jesus. They help keep the main thing. But that is very personal. That is your walk with God. That isn't something that we would input on someone else. You need to serve the Lord like this. This is what solitude looks like.
Yeah.
This is what prayer looks like. It has to look like this or you're not devoted. Oh, settle down.
Yeah. Again, for years, I have said, we as Christians, we are a funny bunch.
Oh.
The Bible says you'll know the truth and the truth will set you free. So we witness to people. We share the love of Jesus with them. We want them to come to discover a knowledge and a relationship with God, through Jesus. And we tell them, hey, you give your life to Jesus, there's going to be so much freedom. And as soon as somebody does give their life to Christ, we subject them to the bondage of conformity. Well, now you got to live like me, act like me, talk like me. It's like, what?
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many non-Christians don't want to commit to being a Christian, is because the subtle idea behind, they don't actually say it, but they think, if I become a Christian, that means I got to be like you? Mm-hmm. You're weird. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be weird. And so when they meet, people, I'll just say generally, like people that really model a Maranatha attitude, and other churches that teach and preach the same kind of thing, this freedom in Christ, that you really love Jesus, you don't intentionally, personally offend people, you're just madly in love with Jesus, you walk that out what it means for you. Mm-hmm. I remember in Bible college, there was an era there where people were trying to make us all conform to the 80s version of what effective pastoring was. It was wearing a dark suit with a white shirt and a tie, and that really became the kind of unspoken suit of what you got to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? I remember I was serving as a presbyter, and I meant no disrespect, and none was originally intended. But I would show up at district events, too, sometimes pretty casual, with a Harley T-shirt and stuff. And other people would stare and look at me going, what in the world? What's he? And my mindset was this. I'm not meaning any disrespect. We're all pastors here. We know that. Mm-hmm. We're not out in the public. When I'm out in the public, in fact, people were so surprised when they would come to Maranatha on a Sunday and see me wearing a suit, because all these other events, they always saw me, I was in a Harley T-shirt. And they'd show up and they go, man, I expect to see you in a Harley T-shirt. I'm going, why would I wear that? This is Sunday morning, man. This is Sunday. Mm-hmm. I'm going to dress appropriate to the day. Now, that has a lot changed too, just because our society has so changed. But this idea of conforming just for the sake of conforming, no, if it has a value, I'm all in. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think of Paul, being all things to all people, that he might win some for Christ.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, Paul goes on in Romans 14 here, talking about, hey, somebody observes this day as special, some another day. It's like, I know Christian circles that they fight over, what does it mean to have the Sabbath? Well, the Sabbath means Saturday, and you Christians meet on Sunday. It's like Christmas, December 25th, is not Jesus' birthday. Oh, really? Wow, you know? And it's like, does it matter? There's no inherent value of trying to find that specific date and making a big issue and deal out of it. No, we celebrate December 25th together. Now, if you don't want to, you think you got a key on it in your household, you want to celebrate on a different day, go right ahead. But try not to make the mandate of changing the whole society and world over something that doesn't really matter. It's inconsequential.
So what I'm hearing you talk about is an attitude of generosity with each other.
Yeah, verse 22 of Romans 14. Do you have faith? Have it to yourself before God. Happy is he who does not condemn himself in what he approves. I mean, hey, Don't worry, be happy.
Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah,
yes.
let's go there. And you know, the fundamental truth really comes down to a couple of things. Because Jesus talked about, you know, when we judge others, be careful, because the measure you use will be the measure used against you. Mm-hmm. So we really need to be careful. In Romans chapter 14, verse 12, it says, so then, each of us shall give an account of himself to God. Mm-hmm. You know, fundamentally, that's what we need to always realize. I'm going to give an account of my life to God. And God's going to ask you, hey, why did you stop doing this? Well, I was really upset, and I didn't like the way they were handling it, and whatever. So I decided to stop, you know. What? Yeah, well, why'd you start doing this? Well, because they were doing this, and they made me. No, nobody made you do anything. You made a choice. Mm-hmm. Realize you're going to give yourself to God. Mm-hmm. Man, giving yourself an account to God, you know. Just recently, I did make a comment to somebody. You know, as a CEO, I could care less, but as a pastor, I do care that you obey God. Mm-hmm. Period.
Of course. In
all things, mm-hmm. to the best of our ability.
Right.
You know,
mm-hmm.
This freedom thing is just really crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, what would you suggest, Pastor Mike? What are some maybe signposts or things that you could add in your life? Someone might be saying right now, I don't want to be a Pharisee. I don't want to be legalistic. I don't want to have anything to do with that. But maybe they have found those structures supportive or comforting, like I'm moving in the right direction. So what would you suggest for folks as they're jumping into Scripture?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, great question. A couple of things. Number one, personally evaluate it. And if you come to the determination that it's not necessarily scripturally mandated, but you personally like it, then keep doing it.
So a preference.
It's a preference. Don't mandate it on others. Okay, so I've told the story before that it does not bother me to see men wearing earrings. Doesn't bother me a bit. I don't think it's unscriptural or anything like that. But God told me not to wear earrings. So when God told me not to wear an earring, I didn't get up on my hobby horse and start telling everybody, hey, God doesn't want us to wear earrings.
Right.
No, he said, he doesn't want me to. Mm-hmm. And I think most people do not know how. It's like somebody has been gambling, and they realize and come to the place where, through the Lord's help, maybe counseling or whatever else, they stop gambling. And God basically says to them, hey, I don't want you to play cards anymore. Mm-hmm. Well, don't go on a kick telling everybody, hey, you can't play cards. No, you can't play cards.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so when you're going through these things, you need to truly, maturely, with a sense of great balance and humility, ask yourself, do I find comfort in this?
Right.
And don't make a mandate on everybody else.
Right.
If it's not scripturally specific mm-hmm. to a morality type issue, mm-hmm. give it up. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to remember in the First Jerusalem Council in Acts 16, they were trying to determine what doctrines, what things are we going to say as Christians are really, really valuable and important. Mm-hmm. Off the top of my head, I might not name all three, but it was number one, abstain from food that was strangled, mm-hmm. sexual immorality, mm-hmm. and giving to the poor, or something like that, if I remember right. It was these three things. Man, apart from those three things, have at it. Avoid sexual immorality, avoid food that was strangled, mm-hmm. I believe, I'm not sure.
Yep.
And then thirdly, give
blood.
to the poor.
Yeah, blood. Don't consume blood.
Okay, yeah, so
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
animals that were strangled,
yeah.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. That was your model for Christianity. Now, we have great lists, and whether they're written down or not, in our minds they're there. Mm-hmm. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. I mean, I think about how many people. And again, I'm not defending smoking. People need to realize that. I smoked cigarettes when I was, 15. I must have smoked maybe 2 packs in my whole life. And I came to the conclusion, why am I going to inhale smoke into my lungs if it doesn't do anything?
I loved it.
You see, I don't get it. But here's the point, though. I am personally aware of godly men and women who have been barred from serving.
Wow.
Because they smoke. We have made this this Christian mandate. You don't smoke. I think the Church of Jesus Christ owes all smokers a huge apology. And I can almost hear right now, somebody out there is listening, they're going, yeah, but you're not supposed to harm the body. Your body's a temple of the Lord. Absolutely. How come with the same fervor that we put against smoking, we don't put against being overweight? Or not exercising? Because I don't want to say just because you're you're overweight doesn't mean you're not healthy. I know people who are overweight and are healthy. They exercise, they work out, whatever else. And other people, they're not overweight, but they're not exercising either. They're not healthy. You're just skinny. That's all. Not healthy. Knock you over.
Well, I think about, in Galatians chapter 5, where it talks about walking in the Spirit. And what a challenge for us, walk in the Spirit. And what does that look like? And getting to know Him better. And, it says...
God told a lot of things to a lot of people in the Bible. But I think the key point is, what is God telling you?
Yep.
And that requires a relationship. And that takes practice.
And that is the biggest governing force. However, there are some
guardrails,
guardrails that are the moral, biblical issues that keep us within that. But there's so much freedom within that. KJ, exactly. I want to do that. Illustrations I used. He told me not to wear earrings. I'm not on a hobby horse now saying, hey, God said don't wear earrings. God might tell me... any number of things. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. He didn't tell me not to get a tattoo.
I know I have...
Because I prayed about it for a long time, knowing that at the time, as a minister in the very conservative circles that I keep, man, if I get a tattoo, oh, man, and I have experienced that my whole life. It's like, oh, man. And I'm truly comfortable with it, and I'm not backsliding, and I'm not trying to justify sin.
Yeah, it's amazing how much assessment's going on.
Yeah. Sometimes what's keeping me from... I'm joking. Listeners, please pay attention. I'm just in one of those silly moments right now. I just want to, sometimes every once in a while, I just want to punch you in the face. And I think I'd be doing God a favor. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't want to do that. Hey, for all of us, our listeners, that is what this wonderful Christian adventure is. Making sure that we don't make up our own rules when it comes to, fasting, serving, tithing, giving to others, that we don't make our own rules and say, well, I'm not going to this or I'm not going to that. We don't get a chance to choose on those things. But there's so much. And really, the challenge to love, and what does love look like, is really the challenge put in front of us all the time. And if we could just learn, and I'll start with myself too, praying with Jesus in Gethsemane, because we all should die the death that Jesus died. And we know that technically he died on the cross, true, but I personally believe, and have preached for years, he really died 2 times before that. Number 1, when he agreed to the Father's plan and left heaven, emptying himself, being born in the form of a man, and secondly was in Gethsemane, when he was there saying, Lord, is there any other way? Can this cup pass before me? And then he ended up praying, Lord, not my will, but yours be done. And if that could be our prayer, Lord, may your will be done and not mine. Because usually when I do mine, things can get messed up, get fleshly and all that. Heavenly Father, I pray that you would just continue to draw us into a closer relationship with you. Help heal our hurts that we all experience in life. Help us to see foundationally, what are we supposed to do to serve you and love you? Amen. Look forward to seeing you next Friday. Have a great weekend.
Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Please join us right here each Friday morning at 8 a.m. If you have any questions or comments about today's show, email wajc@yourliferadio.com. You can hear more from Pastor Mike at Maranatha's website, realchurch.org, on the Messages and Media tab. The opinions expressed here are not necessarily those of the owner.